Welcome, everyone. Suzanne Taylor King here for Designing Your Offers with Ease. So what I'm going to help you do today, whether you like it or not, is upgrade what you're doing, how you're offering it, and how you're packaging it together. And if you've never been to one of my trainings before, I don't talk about me. I'm not going to talk about my accomplishments or any testimonials. If you want to read any of that stuff, it's on my website, SuzanneTaylorKing.com. We are here today to learn stuff, do stuff, put it into action, and then take it away. And if you have questions, there's always time to follow up with me afterwards. Does that sound good? Awesome. All right. So first things first, have pen and paper or go to the link that I provided for the workbook. And I'm going to talk to you for a minute about what getting clear on your packages, your pricing, and your offers can do, not only for your 30-second pitch, but for your sales ability, your confidence, your overall outlook on your business goes through the roof when you are so clear on what you offer and the outcomes that it provides for your people. Does that make sense? All right, awesome. And if you have questions at any point during, the next 30, 40 minutes, just raise your hand. I will see it, or Tony will poke me in the background and say, yo, there's a hand up, because she's really good at that because it's what she does for a living. So just, I know that about her, which is really fun. All right. So, one more person coming in. There we go. All right. So we're going to start with why this is important and why it's important to amplify your authority. I'm going to share a diagram of a funnel. And if you know anything about being in the online space, website space, you're going to understand this diagram. Can everybody see that? Okay. So this is geared if you're running a Facebook ad, but I want you to take Facebook ad out of the equation and just consider that Facebook post or LinkedIn post. And you always want to have a call to action that leads somebody to an opt-in. So that's the first step in the journey. And what I do and have my clients do a little bit different than a standard, funnel or sales method is have this authority amplifier. Now, that could be a video, it could be a training, it could be a live workshop that once somebody comes into your world, you have this standing workshop or Zoom meeting. You're experiencing it right now, wink, wink, where you show up on Zoom or you end up interacting with your ideal clients in some way. That amplifies your authority. It amplifies your relationship with that person. So it's not just downloading another silly PDF. It's actually getting into relationship with you. And then from there, if they like what they hear, if they like what they learned on your training, they're going to schedule a call with you. And I would say that to you right now. If you like what you learned today, there is an offer at the end of this, but that's not what the training is about. So not connecting with somebody for the purpose of getting them to an hour-long sales pitch, that doesn't work anymore. People are too smart for that. And I might add, it's really boring to do as a coach or a consultant. All right. So those 30-minute calls, or they are specifically for sales when you do it this way, because somebody's already seen your value. Okay, I'm going to stop share. Any questions so far? Any insights? Anything? No, we're good. Okay, awesome. All right, now why do you want to do things this way?
Charlie, do you have a question?
What's that?
Charlie had his hand up. Did
Oh.
you change your mind and have a question?
Yeah, go ahead, Charlie.
Do these have to be live events or could they be recorded events?
No, they could be whatever you want. I mean, I do a lot of live events because I prefer that. But if you want to have something that's recorded on a page or even send somebody to a YouTube video, that's another chance to amplify your authority before they schedule that call with you. Okay, now why do you want to do this? No matter what price point offer you have, whether it's under $500 or over $2,500, even over $5,000, the more expensive your offer, the more time it takes to get somebody to buy it. Does that make sense? And in order to do that, you have to speed up the buying cycle. So how do we do that? Well, first, you have to build rapport with people. They have to trust you. And then you have to provide some sort of value. Now, most marketing encourages a normal classic value chain or sales funnel, which means you start with free, and then you go to under 100, and then you go to under 500, and then you go to under 1,000, and then you can sell somebody your high ticket offer. And what I'm proposing, when done correctly, is the exact opposite. And because low ticket funnel type things can be very costly to build, or you need to have somebody do it for you, upsell, downsell, emails, tripwires, all those things. If you turn that value ladder upside down and start with a $3,000 or a $5,000 offer and meet people, attract people, get them into your Zoom room, you can manage 3 or 4 different offers at different price points because your people will choose what they want. They will self-select what offer they need from you. So when that value letter is inverted, you start with the highest offer first. You have more room not only to spend money for advertising and marketing, because you're making more. You're not starting off as a low ticket offer. I started off low ticket offer. Believe me, I've made this mistake for years in my health coaching practice. It requires less sales for you to be profitable when you start with that one-on-one offer. Now, I'm also going to say that each downsell, so for example, you have a $3,000 offer and they can't afford that. They don't want that. They're not ready to buy that. Then you have an easy process to downgrade them or start them with something else instead of the other way around. Now, in order to do this, you need to have a proven one-on-one method service outcome. You can't be too busy that you can't take on more one-on-one clients. And you also have to be really clear on your downsell offers. Oh, you can't afford $5,000 right now? Awesome. I have a mastermind group that's $500 a month and you get this, and I hold no information back. But you're going to do a lot of the work yourself. How's that sound? And it doesn't feel spammy or salesy at all. And then your aim through any coaching or consulting offer is really to upgrade your clients or extend the lifetime value of those clients. Okay, I'm going to take a breath. Questions about inverting that funnel. How does that feel to do that? Feels good? Feels good, makes sense? Awesome.
Suzanne, would you share with us your own personal experience of how you've done that from high to low?
Yes, absolutely. So my health coaching practice, I started off with a $65 a month offer. And that was virtual personal training, meal plans, menus, all of that. And then if you wanted to come to my fitness studio and work out with me or have meal prep done by my team, the price went up. Instead, when I started moving into the online space, I started with a 3-month coaching offer. And I think it was about $1,500, $2,000 for those 3 months. And you got tons of one-on-one time with me, group coaching time with me, text messaging or Voxer access to me. And I just said, oh my God, it's so much easier to sell a really personalized custom result. And that started changing my thinking on offering free to 97 to 197. And that whole upsell process just felt exhausting. And now flash forward, 10 years almost, I start with my one-on-one coaching offer. And then if somebody's not ready for that, a lot of times it's me saying, you're not ready for that. You need to start over here. And there's nothing more authentic. And it's not a game. It's real belief in what your clients need. And I think when you come from that place, it ends up being more abundant long term. So if I meet somebody and they are gung-ho on working with me one-on-one, and there's a certain list in my mind of things they need in order to be ready for that, if they don't have that list, what kind of business coach am I if I sell them something that they're not ready for? I'm asking for a nightmare client, and I'm asking for them not to be successful. So I would rather downsell any day and give somebody what they actually need and then turn them into a one-on-one client. That feels much better for me. Yeah, go ahead, Darlene.
I love that philosophy. And we have the same thing with the virtual assistants, where we'd rather start lower, have them gain their confidence and go up. But there's a lot of different offerings. But my question is to you, what is your conversion rate of people that you've sold the lower ones that have then come to your one-on-one programs?
Almost 100%.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. That's why we're here, to learn from the queen.
Now, I wouldn't say there's 10 million of those people because of the nature of how custom I am, but I've had clients start at $97 a month in my mastermind group for network marketing professionals who stayed with me for 2 or 3 years and then become a one-on-one client because they did the work to get them to where they could afford $2,000 a month to work with me more, right? And that's way more rewarding than selling somebody $2,000 a month when they're only making $500 a month in their business. I won't do that. And there's plenty of people who would argue with me on that fact, but I think when you really look at your offers and you have a high ticket offer that's over $5,000 typically, and you have that's a different ideal client than your $500 a month offer. It's 2 different people. So your job becomes taking that $500 a month client or $250 or whatever you're charging and turning them into that $5,000 offer. That's my job. And I challenge you guys to start, if you think that way and you start with those more expensive people, the lesser clients, that other ideal client is following you and watching what you're doing. I guarantee it. My whole entire Facebook is all of those people. Every follower I have on Facebook that isn't a coach trying to sell me something is one of those people who can't afford to work with me one-on-one, but they want what I have. They want that lower priced offer or the free thing. So my job is to give them enough. And I'm going to show you today how you can do that. So here's the juicy part of today. If you've downloaded the workbook, the first activity in the workbook is what you increase and you decrease for your clients. And it's an interesting activity. Let me pull it up and I will show you what it looks like if you don't already have it. I'm going to share my screen again. Awesome. So we're going to go to this first, actually, I can't turn it. Well, anyway, I can't turn it to make you look at it the right way. Basically, what you're going to brainstorm right now, and I'll happily jump in and do some live coaching and help, is what are the things you increase for your clients emotionally, physically, financially, mentally, and what kind of time period is there? So, for example, if you increase confidence for your clients, how long does it take for them to feel more confident? And just fill that in the little side column. If you increase gratitude like David does, how long does that usually take for your clients to feel more grateful? And fill that in. And I guarantee you spend 20 minutes with David and you already feel more grateful. You spend an hour with Charlie, you automatically start to think differently about what's next for you. So get to the emotional core of those things that you increase. Do you increase time off for people? Do you increase emotional intelligence for people? Do you increase time with your family? You increase somebody's bank account? You get where I'm going, right? So take a few minutes and do that and come up with at least 10 of things you increase for your clients. Go ahead, Charlie. You're on mute, sweetie. I never say sweetie. Where did that come from?
Well, it's out of the bag now. Anyway, they get more clarity. They get a different set of optics as to how to see themselves and how to see others. They get a sense of possibility as opposed to limitation. They feel more confident because they feel more competent about what they're able to do. So therefore their confidence goes up. So we all have had those moments where we doubt ourselves immeasurably. And what I try to get people to do, I said to somebody the other day, what's your big takeaway from the meeting? He said, I have hope. I said, hope's not a strategy, so we need to get back together again. Anyway, but the idea is they feel that emotion that comes from it. They make decisions here and then rationalize it up here.
Exactly.
Anyway, I hope that helps.
Yeah, I feel like, part of the emotional piece, and I just said this to Mike O'Neill earlier today. Did
you call him sweetie?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't. I only called you sweetie. I don't know what's up with that. We'll talk about that later. But like with Mike, he's starting to notice that the people are booking discovery calls with him and that he's having conversations with are women. And I was like, ooh. So that means they're attracted to what he's offering, and we can accelerate that by talking about different emotions of leadership, different feelings and tap into more of that feminine side of Mike. And because he tends to post from the masculine side, and that's an opportunity to get in touch with his ideal client much, much more authentically. And if they're already looking at him, if he has content that's for them specifically, his calendar is going to be even more full. So now the other column, what you decrease for your clients, this can be really helpful when you're creating offers, because knowing whether your prospect moves towards pleasure or away from pain is the number one thing to find out about your ideal client. How do you do that? You have to talk to them. You have to talk all day to your ideal clients. And let's do a little experiment in this room right here. When you're working on your business, whether you're creating an offer or you're about to go into a sales call, do you motivate yourself with the possibility of making money, moving towards pleasure, or getting out of debt? How do you look at things? That tells me if you move towards the pleasure of making money, going on vacation, doing that, you move towards pleasure. If you have debt and you're like, oh, I got to sell this client because I got to pay off my credit card, you move away from pain. So we need to know that about our ideal client. So what do you decrease for them? And most likely you're going to look through the increase list and it's going to be the opposite. But I'm going to challenge you to go a little bit deeper and really tap into the emotion of what you help them move away from. I'll give you a couple minutes. Anybody have any questions about what they help move away from? Okay. All right, we're going to go. We're going to keep going. Are you ready? All right. I'm not losing anybody, am I? Is anybody asleep yet? Nobody's asleep yet? Michael, you're all right? You need to be on tonight at 7. So if you need a nap, you go ahead and take a nap. Mike Leibowitz, by the way. All right. So now the next page, you're going to see lots of bright little colored little squares, right? That is your brain dump. That is where, and I recommend, you don't have to do this activity now. You could start it. But what I recommend is taking a pad of Post-its and standing in front of a doorway, a sliding glass door or a window, and literally filling out each Post-it with something that you could teach, that you could coach around, maybe a different learning that you've had, a different certification that you've had. And then all the things that you increase and decrease are going to go into those Post-its. And I'm going to give you some examples. So my brain dump, when I'm creating an offer, okay, I have a 3-month offer that's an entrepreneur accelerator. In this entrepreneur accelerator, what do I want to do with the people in 3 months? I want to increase their pricing. I want to increase their clarity. I want to increase their offers. I want to increase the number of clients that they have. Now, what am I going to teach them in this? What are they going to learn? What are they going to walk away from? I write everything down on Post-its. You're going to learn offer creation. You're going to learn pricing model. You're going to learn content. You're going to learn how to write emails. You're going to get software that writes emails and writes content for you. You're going to create a webinar. So I write all the things. And then I put all those Post-its on a window and I stand there and I look at them. and I say, what goes with what? What goes where? So does LinkedIn go with creating content? Maybe. So they get closer together. Does creating a webinar go with creating emails? No, they're in two separate places, but you need emails to go after your webinar. Okay. So it organizes what you're going to do either in an offer or in your whole business. So that's the cool part about this packet. If you go through the entire thing, and I'm only going to go over the first 3 activities for you, but if you really dive into this packet, you can either create a rock star offer with a complete outline, or you can create a complete overhead view of your business, everything you do, every offer that you have. Any questions about the brain dump piece? Now, Danica, you're actually doing this right now. Have you started on this activity yet?
I have started, and it is so nice to get it out of here and onto paper so you can see it and then be able to put the puzzle pieces together, just like you said.
Awesome. All right. I'm going to move on to the next step. So next step is to really, really dive into your perfect customer profile. And I'm going to show you mine that I created. And I had some amazing help from one of my community experts. And he's a StoryBrand expert. So most of my work is based on StoryBrand and also based in some other people I've learned from. It's kind of like a culmination or combination of a couple different people. And the perfect customer profile, which is your next page in the packet, is where you're going to list your pains and frustrations of your ideal client, the fears and implications of that in the future. Oh, I'm going to end up homeless if I start another business. You know, those future things. And then your goals and your desires of your ideal client and the dreams and aspirations of where they want that to go. And that's on that chart with the little guy on it. And the reason it's split up, the top 2 boxes are now, and then the bottom 2 are eventual. So that allows you to create content and do your posting, your writing, your emails in those 4 quadrants. And I can't wait. I just ordered an overhead camera that I will be able to turn on, and you will be able to look down at me having that document, and we can fill it out together and it will be right on the screen. That was my Christmas. My husband asked me what I wanted for Christmas, and I said, an overhead camera and a new microphone. And he was like, an overhead camera? What?
Are you trying to be like Daniel?
I am. We go to the same school on that. So learning how to facilitate, things a little bit better. So your content, when you're writing it for that ideal client, and you could do, if you have 2 ideal clients, you could do 2 of those worksheets. It's perfectly fine. And let me grab mine and I'm going to show it to you because I want to show you the detail that's involved when you really get into this and look at it from a really cool perspective, the way and the reason your clients buy, which is something Michael Leibowitz teaches about and talks about. He's coming to Coach Conversations, tonight, which I'm super excited for. So here's my brand identity guide, and we're going to skip ahead to, oh, there it is, my ideal client profile. And you can see that, okay? Thumbs up. Awesome. So you'll see that his persona is all filled out there on the left, his profile summary, his age, occupation, his status, household income. And then the really cool part about knowing him so well, the personality, the influences, the motivations and desires. I can speak to any one of those things, and my ideal clients will raise their hands. And I would argue that right now, there's probably 3 of you or 4 of you in this room who identify with this ideal client. Maybe not the boy part, but you're going to see yourself in this profile because you're attracted to me and what I do. Wow. That's really cool to have that. And the way it makes you feel as a business owner, as a coach, as a consultant, as somebody who's going out there and building relationships, asking for referrals, it enables me to know exactly who I'm looking for. So if you want a copy of this, if you want to, a picture of this, I'm happy to send it to you. Questions on ideal client profile and filling that form out.
It sounds to me like it would be a perfect vehicle to give somebody who's a strategic partner of yours to get a sense they know exactly what you're looking for, instead of just giving them a bunch of words. You're giving them a document that has it all fleshed out.
Yes. Yes. And that's, when you're creating content, whether it's emails, social media posts, or even a webinar or a workshop like this, I used to create it based on what I wanted people to come to. I don't do that anymore. I create it based on what you want it to be. So that's listening, that's observing, that's asking questions. And it's also participating with my ideal clients in their social media. So if I'm introduced to somebody, obviously I connect with them on LinkedIn. What are they posting about? What are they talking about? What are the topics that they're listening to? And this topic of today, what we're doing, these first 3 activities are literally the foundation of creating a new program for yourself. I'm sure you've all done ideal client work before. I'm sure you've all done a brain dump before. It's nothing new, but it's the way of putting those 3 things together. And if you look at the next page in your workbook, you will see what comes next. And I want you to do that work. If you need my help, you need my help. But I want you to do that work in that packet, because what it allows you to do after you have your ideal client, the page that says $1 million message, that is something that my software can create for you, can create 20 or 30 of those $1 million messages for each client. Now I'm going to grab another download for you just because I feel inspired. This is a worksheet that I give my clients to work on their elevator pitches or their $1 million message, whatever you want to call it. And what it does, please make a copy of it before you start typing. Make a copy first. And what this does is this gives you a way, and I'm going to share my screen and explain how to do it. All right, so it's just a simple Excel spreadsheet. I work with blank who love blank but hate blank. I work with blank who have enough blank but not enough blank. I work with blank who want more blank with less blank. I work with blank who want blank even if they have never blank. So if you do 5 or 6 of each of these different phrases, you not only can use them, you know, as calls to action, you can use them at networking events. So it's how I am so good at not only building rapport with someone, whether they're an attorney or a garbage man, it's because of these statements, because I know what to say to the right person, and you just have to practice. So I'm going to share this in the chat with you guys as well. And again, make a copy of that and then play. And if you have questions, you can hit reply and, you know, send me a comment on Google Slides, or you can send me an email. All right. So lastly, I want to go over. What's that?
Excuse me.
Oh,
Excuse me.
I'm sorry. I put it to Tony by herself. Everyone. There you go, guys. Okay, so you're welcome. So lastly, I want to just say a couple of things about actually creating the offer. And it's all about that transformation. We know what's the end result in that offer, but it's also more than that. It's also how much time are they getting with you? And let me just paint this picture. When I had 97 or $65 a month clients, how much time did they get with me? They got 4 group sessions a month. Now, as I grew and as the demand increased, my price went up and people got less time. So as you grow, your price goes up and the amount of time that people get with you goes down until you have to create a higher ticket offer for your time. So as you're creating something here, I want you to think about that. What is the amount of time and exposure people get with you? Now, I give a ton of time away for free, a ton. I give a ton of value for free. But my clients have my phone number, right? So that's like that velvet rope policy. That's the policy that, okay, I'm going to give you content. I'm going to give you value. I'm going to meet with you, but only my clients get my phone number. So you have to decide what your program, what your high ticket offer, or what your more valuable program looks like in exchange for your time. Does anybody struggle with value of their time or value in their coaching? Anybody struggle with that? Like you don't know where to price yourself? Darlene says yes. Anyone else feel that way? Who wants to charge a little bit more for what they do and doesn't quite know how to do it? Casey does, Charlie does, Judy does. Okay. So in order for you to believe it's worth more, you have to equate it to the amount of experience that it's taken you to get where you are. So you want to do an equation with me? Okay, grab your pen. And I want you to write how many hours and how much money you've spent on your education and learning how to do what you do. For example, if you went to college and you have a bachelor's degree, how much did you spend for 4 years in college? How much did you spend on certifications, learning? I can't even talk about how much I spent on Amazon for books. Like, I better not say that too loud or somebody might hear me. Right? So how much have you spent? And then how many hours have you spent educating yourself? Then your next figure, and this is the one that's a little scary for me, it makes me a little nauseous. How many years experience do you have doing what you do? And here's the amazing part of this. I was a dental hygienist for 20 years. And this is one of the few stories I tell about myself. I didn't think that career had any value in this career. I didn't think that it was related. I never mentioned it. I never talked about it until I spent $20,000 on a Tony Robbins mastermind that met 4 times a year, 4 times 20 grand, 4 times 20 grand. Huh. And in the first 10 minutes, he asked, giant Zoom room, 500 people, put in the chat what you used to do for a living. And I type dental hygienist. And he looks at the chat and he's like, who's the dental hygienist? And I was like, oh crap, he's going to talk to me. Oh my God. Right. And here's what he said. Do you understand that you have the unique ability to take somebody from a waiting room who's afraid and nervous, doesn't want to be there, and in a 1-minute walk back to your room, they lay in a chair, they lay back and invite you into their body. And then you sell them dentistry that nobody's ever going to see and that they don't want to spend money on. So that, my friend, needs to increase your confidence in your coaching and your abilities. And I was like, and it's really about finding that connection between your old job, your old career. Even if you were a stay-at-home mom for 10 years, there's project management skills there that are valuable on this list. All right, so now once you have all that experience down, I put 20 years as a dental hygienist. How much did I make approximately per year? Like 80 grand a year for almost 20 years. Okay, put that down. And then add up that figure. I added mine up. Divide it by how many weeks a year you want to work, and then divide it by how many hours a week you want to work. And I would argue that should be your hourly rate. Mine came up. Go ahead, Judy.
I don't know if it's your connection or mine, but I couldn't hear all the words you just said.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I mean, I can hear you, but then every so often there's like this,
It might be your
distortion.
Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Yeah, it might well.
Okay.
It's got to be hurt because I hear it too.
Okay, let me
Okay.
plug in. Let me plug in. All right, now I'm hardwired. It should be better. Okay, so how many hours in your past career? How much money did you spend on degrees or certifications? How many thousands of dollars on books, courses, coaching? And then in your previous career, how much money did you earn during that time? So I was about 80,000 a year for 20 years, give or take. That got added into my equation. Now, once you have a total, I probably have 4,000 books, average price of the books I've read, right? $20, $15, $12. Add all that up. Divide it by how many weeks a year you want to work. And don't make it 52. Make it something like 40. Because I like vacation. You like vacation. And then how many hours a week do you want to work? David, your head's exploding right now, isn't it? So that needs to be your hourly rate. Who's brave enough to share what their number is?
2,200.
Okay. Mine was around that. It was around 3,000, 2,800, something like
Well,
that.
I probably went real light on the books because I did 300,000 because I have 3 degrees.
Mhm.
And then I did 100,000 for books and courses, which is probably light. And then I did 30 years at 60,000
Mhm.
as an accountant. And when I divided all that out for 40 weeks a month at 25 hours was 2,200.
Awesome. How's that feel?
A lot.
It feels like a lot to charge somebody for an hour.
No, I did make that one hour last week.
Awesome.
Well, I was running credit cards for them.
Judy, any insights on that? David, any insights on, does it make you realize what you're worth?
$5,000 an hour.
Hmm.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I have no idea what the expenses were. I'd have to go back and really think about that.
Well, you don't have to overthink it, but this activity is meant to, like, roughly, how many coaches have you hired in your career now, Judy, right? I know I've hired 6 or 7 that were over $10,000. And then that $20,000 mastermind with Tony Robbins, like all of that gets added in.
Mhm.
And then the years of experience, all of that gets added in.
You know, I get the gist of it. I would just have to think about it for.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Okay.
it's fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely gonna go and fill in the blanks. Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. And Darlene, you said good stuff. Does it make you feel more valuable when you take all that past stuff into consideration?
It makes sense, but probably like some others, the number seems super high, but I'm old too. So I have a lot of years of work behind me. So,
Yeah,
and
me too.
experience. But yeah, that number does seem high.
Okay, so let's take David's number of $5,000 an hour. If he creates a coaching program or an offer that's $5,000 for 3 months or 6 months, is that a bargain? Yes. Can you sell that from a place of humongous value?
I see what you're saying.
So then your sales process feels more authentic, more real, and it's not fake because it's true. That's the numbers. That's the value of what you're bringing to the table. Charlie.
Susan,
Mhm.
Suzanne, how does David correlate that to what people are willing to pay him now?
Well, I think that's some market testing. That's, doing some market research, like what are coaches like him currently charging? What do their programs look like? And then reaching out to his past clients who paid X and what was the result they got? And let's see if we could amplify that for a higher end program. That's where I would start. Any other questions?
Great exercise.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, that's where I'm going to wrap up today unless somebody would like to work on their activities or have a little hot seat coaching. Or if somebody wants to stay on and hear about what I'm doing with a group of clients starting in January. I'm going to hit stop record.